Okay, so as in the last video, we have actually revised the trick of balancing the chemical equation by giving variables as the coefficient to the every substance which is present in the chemical equation, right? We were basically balancing this chemical equation. Methane, which burns in the presence of oxygen, produces carbon dioxide and water, right? So we balance this chemical equation by the trick, which is, of course, we know that 100% right. We just gave variables as the coefficient to each of the substance which is present in the chemical equation, and then we formed the chemical equation by using reactant side and the product side. Thus we got our four values: a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, c is equal to 1, and d is equal to 2, and we substituted then those a, b, c and d value in the chemical equation as we assigned the variables as the coefficient to each of the substance, right? So in the end we got to know that 1 mole of methane burns in the presence of 2 moles of oxygen, produces 1 mole of carbon dioxide and 2 moles of water. Now we have a balanced chemical equation. Now let's write this balanced chemical equation there, as we were going to solve the equation, right? Now we'll be calculating the number of moles, mass, volume by using the chemical equation. Now our real topic, our actual topic, stoichiometry, begins. So now we have actually balanced it. Here we have 2 and here we have 2, right? Carbon is 1 here on the reactant side, carbon is 1 here on the product side as well. Then 4 hydrogen are there on the reactant side, 4 2 2s are 4 are there on the product side as well. Then 2 into 2, 4 oxygen on the reactant side, 2 plus 2, 4 oxygen on the product side as well. Means now we have the balanced chemical equation. Now let's read this question and let's try to solve or what they have asked to find us by using this balanced chemical equation. Initially, the first step or the initial step is to balance the chemical equation, right? Either the examiner can give you unbalanced equation or he can give you balanced chemical equation as well. But if that is balanced chemical equation, you need to check that either that equation is balanced or not. You need to check that. If that is not balanced, if that is unbalanced, you need to balance it. And now I have made you guys learn about the trick as well, and that is of course 100% right. Then you can balance that chemical equation, then try to solve the question which is given to you, right? Now 16 gram of methane is burned. Find the mass of carbon dioxide. They have given the mass of methane, right? Mass of methane, which is basically equal to 16 gram, and they have asked about the mass of carbon dioxide, right? They have asked about mass of carbon dioxide, which means they have given us the mass of methane, which is equal to 16 gram, and they have asked about the mass of carbon dioxide. The initial step is to find the number of moles of each substance, right? Or find only the number of moles which are important in the chemical equation, right? So let's find the number of mole of methane first, right? How we gonna find the number of mole here? We know that we have three important formulas. The one is based on the mass, second is based on the volume, third is based on the number of particles. Here we have got mass, which means now we will be going to use the formula of finding the number of mole when there was mass, right? So number of mole is equal to given mass per molar mass, right? So number of mole, let number of mole be x since we are finding it, is equal to given mass is 16 gram. They have already given us 16 gram mass of methane, right? What is the molar mass of methane? Let's find that as well, right? So the molar mass of methane, we know that the mass of carbon is 12 plus the mass of oxygen is 1, and there are 4 atoms of oxygen. So 12 plus 1 4 is 4, in that is equal to 16 gram, right? Which means the molar mass of methane is what? It is 16 gram. Divided 16 ones are 16 ones are, which means x is equal to 1 mole. We have how many moles of methane, actually that is equal to 1 mole. Now we have actually found the mole. Now see, 1 mole of methane is used to produce how many moles of carbon dioxide, right? Of course, if we have 1 mole of methane used, then it will gonna produce only the 1 mole of carbon dioxide. For suppose if I'll have 2 moles of methane, the 2 moles of methane would have produced 2 moles of carbon dioxide. But here we have only 1 mole of methane. So 1 mole of methane will gonna produce 1 mole of carbon dioxide. So here we have number of mole equal to 1, right? Since we know that 1 mole of carbon dioxide, methane will gonna produce only 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Now we need to find the given mass, right? We know that what is the formula for finding the mass if you have moles given, right? So number of mole is equal to given mass per molar mass. We need to find this gm, given mass. Here molar mass is divide, when we go there it will be multiplied. So let the gm, the gram or the given mass be x. X is equal to number of mole into molar mass, and we're gonna get a given mass, right? So x is equal to how many we have number of moles. We have actually 1 number of mole. And what is the molar mass of carbon dioxide? We know that the mass of carbon is 12 plus the mass of oxygen is 16, and we have 2 atoms of oxygen, right? So 12 plus 16 2s are 32. 32 plus 12 we get 44. So 44 gram is the molar mass of carbon dioxide. So 1 into molar mass of carbon dioxide is 44 gram. Thus we get the given mass of carbon dioxide as 44 gram. So what is the answer? What is the mass of carbon dioxide we get is 44 gram. How we did solve? They basically asked and they have given 16 gram of methane. They have asked that if 16 gram of methane is burned, how much what the carbon dioxide is produced. So basically we have just calculated the mole first, because we will be solving everything with the mole concept. And if we'll be solving with the mole concept, means the initial step is to find the number of mole of the substance which are present in the chemical equation. Then actually we found the number of mole of the methane first, since the mass of the methane was already given. So number of mole is equal to given mass per molar mass. Number of mole, given mass was 16, molar mass of methane is 16, so 16 divided by 16 is 1 mole. So now we got there is only a 1 mole of methane. Means if there is a 1 mole of methane, so 1 mole of methyl will gonna produce 1 mole of carbon dioxide. So basically here we have got our mole as well, and that is equal to 1. Now we need to find the given mass, and we know the formula. Number of mole is equal to given mass per molar mass. Number of mole we already know. Molar mass of carbon dioxide is 44. 44 will be divided here, where it will go there, it will be multiplied, and number of mole is 1. So 1 into 44 is 44 gram. So the given mass will be 44. Now how I'll gonna read this chemical equation? When basically 1 mole of 60, or you can say 16 gram of methane is burned in the presence of 2 moles of oxygen, it produces 1 mole of carbon dioxide or 44 gram of carbon dioxide with 2 moles of water. This is how you're gonna read your chemical equation. Then I know this was very easy. In the next video we're gonna solve more questions, so that we can have a grip on solving these type of questions, right? So we have basically learned a simple chemical equation, but in the next video we're gonna take more difficult one, and we're gonna solve for finding the number of moles, mass or volume. Here they have actually asked about the mass only, but in the coming equations they're gonna give you the mass, and they're gonna ask you for finding the volume, right? They're gonna give you the volume, they're gonna ask you to find the number of particles. So there would be a lot of conversions as we have already learned how we're gonna calculate if we'll have volume in the question, right? If we have volume in the question, we're gonna divide that given volume by the molar volume, we're gonna get our number of mole, and if we get our number of mole, we can find the mass then, right? Number of mole will be multiplied by the molar mass, and we will have our given mass. That is as easy as we have already solved, right? So in the next video we're gonna solve more questions.